I've had a couple people ask me over the past, couple years, uh, why I don't really do like the warrant officer, U.S. Army advice type informational videos anymore. And I think it's worth addressing. So for a lot of people don't know this. This blows my mind actually because it used to be kind of the thing I was known for. But I'm a United States Army warrant officer. I've been doing that for uh, 10 years now, which is crazy. I've been a warrant officer far longer than I was ever enlisted. So this is it. It well and truly makes up the, kind of the bulk of my career. Um, which again, that's crazy to me. When I started making content back 5 years ago, I did kind of pepper in, usually at least a weekly, like, hey, here's how to submit your packet to become a warrant officer. Here's what a warrant officer does. Here's the ranks of the warrant officer, all that stuff. All this kind of educational type content, usually put kind of a funny spin on it, throw a couple jokes in. And as time has gone on, I have, I guess to start, I had probably the worst year I've had in my life this past year. 2025 sucked, and I went through a lot. Um, and I found myself kind of in the middle of that, realizing that whether it was my fault or not, I was not really, I didn't feel like I was a good example of a warrant officer who should be on the internet telling people how to do it. Long story short, I fell into a pretty massive depression. I was not taking very good care of myself. I was going through a lot of, marital and financial problems. Ended up going to a rehab facility. And then coming out of that, my wife passed away in April. So I went from rehab to now I'm a single father, and life is just a mess. Things are better now. Things are way better than they were in April when all that stuff happened. But I would be lying if I said I felt like I was back on my own 2 feet and running at full speed professionally the way I was even maybe a year and a half ago. In March, I will have 18 years time in service, which is bonkers to me. Where did all that time go? You know? It's just crazy to think about that in 2 years, I will probably be retiring. And I say that because now that, I'm a single dad and I'm kind of at a point where it's like, at one point after everything happened in April, I went to my boss and I was like, dude, I don't know if I can keep being a soldier. Like I had lost all taste for it. And I had to encounter and address my own weakness in a way that I think a lot of men maybe don't. And I felt real stupid because there were a lot of points in my life where I felt very strong and saw men struggling with sorrow or depression or lethargia or anything like that. It was just like, just, you got it, brother. Just pull up your pants and get on with it. So yeah, I had to address my own weakness in a very real way. Shit, it hobbled me, man. I walked with a limp for months after that. And I hate that, and in a lot of ways, I kept moving, I had 4 kids to take care of and I definitely didn't want to just lay down and quit, but man, it hurt. It really hurt. And on top of that, just professionally, like between going to rehab and then that and being gone a lot, I sucked at my job. Just being real. I mean, granted, it was a cubicle job. No one's lives were at stake. It was a very like bureaucratic job, a lot of like money and budgets and timelines and stuff like that. And I honestly, I never really took to that work. I tried my best for a long time, but I realized coming out of it, especially, that I just am not as suited to that stuff as maybe I thought I was going into it. But anyway, yeah, I came to a point where it was like, man, I don't know if I'm the guy who should be on here telling people how to apply and become a warrant officer. I don't know if I should be the guy on here telling people, what warrant officers are all about and all that stuff, and representing that very niche, very small community of the Army to the world. Because, and not as a brag, but I mean, to my knowledge, as far as military personalities on the internet, I am probably the most prominent warrant officer. At least the one who's kind of leaned into that and said, like, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is my job. Which also raises another point, which is in uniform content. Obviously, for a long time, I was kind of like, whatever about in uniform content. I would make it. I would make videos with my uniform on all the time, and really didn't think much of it. I really kind of felt like if you weren't supposed to do it, then someone would physically come to me and say, hey, knock it off. And no one ever did. No one has to this day. And if anything, the Pentagon seems to kind of, if you do that and have success with it on the internet, the Pentagon wants to bring you up and throw you a party, which I haven't gotten to go to, I guess. But yeah, they weirdly like condone without condoning it, if that makes sense. It makes a lot of people upset. In uniform content there's a huge swath of the veteran and active serving community that hate military influencers who make content in their uniform. And the yucky thing about it is, and you can think what you want about me, it is a trend that I've noticed, and you can go look at my page and confirm it with the numbers and the views. If I make a video and I've got that uniform on, it's going to perform well. It's going to perform better than it would if I were just wearing a t-shirt. And so, yeah, like with intent, a lot of times I would put my uniform on. Granted, I was a warrant officer talking about becoming a warrant officer and what warrant officers do and all that stuff. So it kind of made sense in a weird way, but I also did and said a lot of silly stuff. Now, I'm a big advocate for having a fucking sense of humor in this line of work. And I absolutely am a jokester with my uniform on, and I kind of don't care who that makes mad, especially at 18 years time in service. I don't care. If you're mad by that, just get over it. Oops. But yeah, I've kind of again, like I've kind of come to this point where it's like, I don't want that to be true. I don't want it to be a thing where it's like, I need to put on my OCPs to get a point across. I don't want the video to be funny because it's a guy in a uniform. And it's not that I'm not proud of the Army. I'm very proud of the time I've spent in the Army. It's taking a bite out of me for sure. But I'm coming to that point where I'm at the twilight of my career. Like 2 years from now, the plan is to be wrapping it up, and hanging it up. And so, yeah, I'm kind of migrating away from that, like, hey, here's what it's like to, the military is a huge part of my life. That's kind of why my content is a lot of just military jokes and references. And, my life has been steeped in it for many years. But yeah, I don't want it to be the thing anymore. And that sucks, because what I think that's going to equate to is I'm turning away now from the thing that put me in front of you guys' faces, and the algorithm's going to be like, whoa, you're missing you're out of uniform, buddy. So we're not going to show you to your followers. Which is bonkers to me. And as I guess just as a cautionary tale to anyone who's like, I want to be a YouTuber or I want to be an influencer or whatever. I have over 1 million followers across all of the platforms. Less than 10% of them see my videos on a regular basis. I have 400,000 followers on YouTube. The last 5 full long form videos have like topped out at like 3,000 views. That's abysmal. The good thing is, I guess the encouraging thing that I want to leave you with is I'm at a point now where I don't have to make content to make money. I no longer feel like I need to run that race. And so everything that you see, hear about moving forward is just going to be things that I'm making because I like it. Now, if you catch me out in the wild, which people have, if you see me in your city, somewhere out in your hood, smile for me, Daddy. No, I'm kidding. If you see me out in the wild and you have questions, I'm happy to answer questions about becoming a warrant officer or making that, your career and stuff like that. But I think this is kind of the beginning of me being done with being chief for you guys, at least in any kind of real way. I don't think I'll ever be able to completely walk. Like if I were to get on here and say like, I'm done doing crafting, I'm done doing Sergeant Major, I think there'd be a revolt on my hands. So I don't think I would do that to you guys, but yeah, I'm kind of moving away from the whole military shtick, and wearing the uniform to generate engagement and stuff. And I think it's just time. I think it's time. Like, yeah, I'm a warrant officer, but that is a small slice of the pie, as far as who I am. And there will come a time where I may address that topic again, but I just, I feel good about who I am. I said a lot of stuff about, kind of feeling like I failed the mission this year, but I feel better about the direction I'm heading. I'm in a new job, which is a lot more my speed, as it were. But yeah, I think especially like getting close to the end of my career, I just want to focus on things that I enjoy and putting content out that I enjoy making and I feel satisfied by. Uncles of Chaos is a thing I'm really proud of, and it has nothing to do. It is not like on paper, it's not a success. I mean, you can go check the playlist now. Like the videos don't pop, they don't blow up, but I love making those, and I love the comments that I do get on them are just so encouraging. And that's fun to make. That's the kind of stuff that I want to make. Making music, teaching people how to make music. I want to get into kind of making some more kind of tutorial type stuff. But again, that's a big deviation, and it's a situation where I'm making it and it, you just may not see it. YouTube may not show it to you. So, which is wild, but here we are. That's the algorithm, and there's no point in crying over it. I mean, like I said, at this point, I don't have to do it. I just enjoy doing it now. And maybe good things will come from that instead of, it's a lot of stuff I've made, especially over the past 2 years, since about 2023. That was very much, I was making things and trying to bob and weave with the algorithm. And I was behind the scenes, I was miserable. A lot of staff wars just between you and me. I was miserable making a lot of that stuff. At least from a creative standpoint. So yeah, just checking in. Honestly, I wanted to get on here and just kind of break character, and this, I don't know, this may not do well, but yeah. Anyway, I'm still out here, still making stuff. Its frequency is going to be lower just because I'm not going to put trash out every day. I'm done just holding my phone up and being like, MREs, am I right? I don't want to do that. That's, so I've reposted a couple of videos that did really well, and people have kind of noticed, like, I've had people be like, oh, bro fell off. Like, yeah, kind of. But what a freeing feeling, because now I have an audience and I'll make what I make and try to enjoy that, because I don't have to do it now. That's the best part. Now we can just have fun. So love you guys. I want to try to keep doing this. I say that, we'll try. We'll give it a shot. You know, I'm flaky. I'm so flaky. You should never make assurances that you don't plan on backing up. I'll see what I can do. But you guys take care of each other. Have a happy holiday. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.